You're going to be that couple on the Newlywed Game.
Well, we are officially live. So you can see at the top.
Meeting is
So
now
as
live.
soon as it gets to my email, I will be.
You're going to be that couple on the Newlywed Game.
All right, whenever you're ready, Kelly.
Oh, awesome. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the Newlywed Game. Woo! We have 4 amazing authors here tonight, and they are going to be sharing the answers for their couples because they can't quite speak through this method. So what I'm Marissa, do you want to do any author intros?
Sure. So we are super lucky to have Kelly Farmer as our moderator, who is an author as well. We have Ava Lee, who is a historical romance author. We have Kate Bateman, another historical romance author. And we have Farah Heron, who is a contemporary romance author, and JC Lee, a contemporary romance author. And we're so excited to have all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so now that we know who these fantastic authors are, let's meet our couples for the evening. What I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce the couples, and then I'm going to ask each of the authors to give 3 words that best describe both their hero and their heroine, just in case any of you viewers out there are not familiar with these folks, so that you can maybe get to know a little bit about them and see how they might be answering their questions. First of all, we have Kate Bateman. Our first couple had their first kiss in a brothel. They spent their time in a gambling hell only to realize they'd bet it all on love. From The Princess and the Rogue, it's Sebastian Wolf, Earl of Mowbray, and Princess Anastasia Denisova. Woo!
That was fantastic. I loved it. So I guess 3 words for my Russian princess. That's easy. She's an undercover Russian princess who's hiding out. And I suppose for Seb, he is a Bow Street runner. So 2 very different sort of classes and different personalities there. But they work together as a team finally in the end.
Awesome. All right, our next couple is with Farah. Our next couple faked their engagement to enter a cooking competition, but then they stirred up some real feelings in the kitchen. From Accidentally Engaged, please welcome Nadim and Rina Manji.
So Nadim he's worldly, he's a traveler, and he's mysterious, and he's very charming. Rina, on the other hand, she's a baker. She's more of a homebody. She's very witty, and she's very independent, or at least she tries to be very independent.
Thank you. All right, JC has our next couple. Our next couple agreed to only have 4 dates before saying goodbye, but their hearts said hello to forever. From The Dating Dare, say hello to Seth Kim and Tara Park.
Tara is a brewer. She's fierce and sassy. I'm trying to stick to 3 words. And Seth is a photographer, and he's creative and corny.
Okay, and then we have Ava. Our last couple met when he accompanied her on a carriage journey through the countryside. What started as a bumpy road ended in smooth sailing into happily ever after. From Waiting for a Scot Like You, please give a warm welcome to Major Duncan McCameron and Beatrice, the Dowager Countess of Paris.
Yay, woo, yeah. Duncan is going to, he's going to probably give all of his answers in laconic one word because he's a disciplined veteran who is a surprise Dom. He didn't know that about himself. But when he met the enthusiastic, living her best life widow, Beatrice, he learned a little something about himself.
Any words for Beatrice?
Well, she's enthusiastic. She's a widow and she's, in one word, living her best life.
Love it. Hashtag.
Hashtag.
Not that they had hashtags.
Hashtag widow goals.
Awesome. And I do want to mention that I will be using the words husband and wife quite frequently here. However, our last couple here are not married, so we will be referring to them as partners.
That's right.
Okay, so let's get started. Right now, we're going to have the wives go ahead and get sequestered into our soundproof room. So go on, ladies. All right, now we've got the gentlemen here. What we're going to have them do is answer 3 questions based on how they think their wives would answer. And now for the viewers watching, what we're going to do is have the authors help provide those answers. And then when the wives come back, we will give the viewers an opportunity to type in the chat what you think the answers will be. So hang tight for those. Be thinking about it as they're answering their questions. All right, let's get started. Question number 1. What would your wife say was the least romantic place you ever got romantic with her? I think we all know what the word romantic means here.
Right.
What would your wife say was the least romantic place you ever got romantic with her? Let's go ahead. We'll start with Ava, if that's all right with you.
I don't know if it's backwards. It says tavern.
In a tavern. All right. And you don't have to show them right now if you don't want to. Those are for like the
Okay.
answer time, but you can show
okay.
them now. Totally fine.
I got it.
And so what part of the tavern did they get romantic in?
In the private dining room where unfortunately or fortunately there was actually no door, just a curtain.
Scandalous. All right. JC, where's the least romantic place your characters ever got romantic?
I just wanted to share that I had a moment of panic because I forgot how to spell alley, but it's back alley behind a bakery. And don't laugh if I did spell it wrong.
There's no judgment here. It's Saturday. We don't have to spell or do math on Saturdays.
I know.
Lenny and I have to stay back alley. Not the most romantic place, but at least there was delicious odors in the air from the bakery. So
Yeah, I think it smelled like vanilla and cinnamon.
perfect. Okay, Kate, what is the least romantic place your folks got romantic with each other?
Well, it's tempting to say brothel, obviously, because that's where they met. But I would have to say the back hallway of his gaming club is where she was not impressed, but it's a gaming hell, so why not?
There's a lot of little nooks and crannies in there anyway. So
Oh yes.
yeah, it's nice and
Emphasis
dark.
on the nooks and crannies.
Yes. Okay, and finally, what would Arena have said was the least romantic place Nadim ever got romantic with her?
Probably her parents' house is what she would say. Thankfully, mom and dad weren't there right then.
But yeah, there's not exactly thinking romance at mom and dad's house. Not so
No,
much.
but maybe she had more negative memories there that made the space less desirable for her than he did.
Yeah, understood. All right, super. So then we have question number 2. How would your wife say you would complete this sentence? My wife has an unusual desire to blank. My wife has an unusual desire to blank. Okay, let's start with JC this time. What would Tara say that? What would Seth say that Tara has an unusual desire to blank?
Tara has an unusual desire to kick ass whenever she can at whatever opportunity, including this game.
He knows. I feel like she trained him in the green room before the game. You know, like, we're gonna win this. Let's
We're
go.
gonna do this.
Yeah. All right. I like that. Kick ass. All right. Kate, what would Seb be saying that my wife has an unusual desire to
Follow weird Russian superstitions, because that's what she does. She does it all throughout the book. She's got the most weird things that she has to do, including at their wedding. So it drives him mad, but he goes along with it. So that's what it is. Stick with Russian superstitions.
All right. And he better know that about her too, because
Better.
there's probably a superstition about it. Okay, Farah, how would Nadim think Rena say, my wife has an unusual desire to blank?
To bake more bread than any sane person would eat. She just will not stop baking bread. Not that he would complain about it, but
Yeah, that's a pretty good complaint.
worse.
All right. Bread. All right, and finally, our partners, Duncan and Beatrice. What would Duncan say that she has an unusual desire to do?
Duncan would say that Beatrice has an unusual desire to surprise people because she is 46 years old, a widow of 3, and has 3 adult children, and she's lived her whole life doing what other people want, but now it's her turn to do what she wants.
Nice. I have nothing else to say. That was perfect. All right. And the last question for the gentleman. Lately in the whoopee department, would your wife say you've been cutting down her supply or she's been cutting down your supply? Lately in the whoopee department, because the Newlywed Game loves to use the word whoopee. Would you say would your wife say you've been cutting down her supply or she's been cutting down your supply? Kate, what would your folks say?
I think she would say she's the one cutting down the supply, because he can never get enough of her. He can't stop. So even though she's probably giving it up a lot, it would still not be enough for him. So I would say it's her fault, clearly not getting enough whoopee. That's it.
All right. Tara, what about your couple there? Who's cutting off the supply?
Neither is cutting off anybody's supply. Absolutely not. They're newlyweds.
All right. Super. Let's go to Ava. Who has been cutting down the supply in the whoopee department?
I would say, wink, I would say that he's probably cutting down the supply just because she's in this time of her life where she's ready to have a lot of fun. And I think she's exhausting him a little bit, which is amazing because he is an athlete and a former soldier. So he's got a lot of stamina, but she's putting it to the test.
Right. And he's younger than her, so.
And he is younger than her. That's right. There's a 12-year age difference between them. So, when you're ready in that stage in your life to have some fun, by God, you're going for it.
They're just, they're having a good time. And
this book is ridiculous. I told my mom doesn't read my books because they have sex in them. And I'm like, you're never going to read this book then, Mom.
like if you ever decide to, this is not the one to start.
Not this one.
And finally, JC, is Seth or Tara cutting off the supply?
Seth, I think, is going to try to be funny and say that he is because she's insatiable. I don't know what she'll say.
I'm surprised to see what her answer is. You know what I loved about this question too? We got 4 completely different answers. So it'd be a lot of fun to see what the ladies have to say when they come back in. So why don't we just go ahead and bring them back in? Come on back from the secret quiet room. All right, the couples have now reunited and it feels so good. All right, So now we're going to have the wives and partners answer the questions based on their prediction of how their husbands answered. And now each match of the question is worth 5 points, and Marissa is thoughtfully keeping score for us. So we'll know how the couples are doing. And this is the point where we're going to go ahead and before each wife answers the question, we'll ask the viewers what you think their answer is going to be. So we'll go ahead and get started. That question number 1. I'm just reading my notes here. Yes, question number 1. What would your wife say is the least romantic place you ever got romantic with her? So we will we'll start with Ava. And how would you think Beatrice, the lady out to have the time of her life, how do you think she answered this question, viewers?
Well, for her, it would be the floor of a guest bedroom, because right afterwards they had a really big fight and we got into a dark moment, and that would be her answer.
All right, and since we have a slight delay, viewers, so Marissa's watching your answers come on up. So while she's doing that, we're going to go ahead and have them answer, and we'll see who on our chat might have matched up with the answer. So Ava, if you can show what the answer was that your husband surrounded, or your partner, excuse me.
Yeah, that's all right. So he said tavern, the back room in the tavern, because he thought maybe that wasn't so romantic because it was semi-private, but little did he know that that was one of the best experiences of her life.
Now, how would your couple react to, how do they feel about their differing answers there? He'd be pleasantly surprised?
I don't think they would be surprised. They're pretty different people, so they know that they're going to have different answers. But I think that they would laugh, and I think they'd be okay with not winning this one.
All right, hey, healthy relationship. If they're enjoying the variety of their answers,
right?
Lovely thing,
Right.
All right. We'll move on to JC. What would Tara say was the least romantic place that Seth ever got romantic with her?
She would say that Seth gets romantic with her everywhere, every chance he gets. And that's a hard question, but she's going to go with behind the bakery alleyway.
All right. And if you don't mind showing what the answer that Seth provided for everybody. Hey, it's a match. Woo, 5 points.
So they'd be like, hoorah, and chest bumping and all that.
And Reader Stays Romance said that she thought Ava's characters would have matched with the back.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Cool. All right. So we have one match. Let's see if we can get another one. Kate, between Seb and Anya, what was the least romantic place they ever got romantic?
He would say it was the brothel, because she was just there to teach some girls to read, and he basically tried to buy her for the night. Very cross lines there. So that's what she would say. Yep.
All right. And if you don't mind revealing the answer that Seb had provided.
He said dark hallway of the gaming club, which, I mean, they're both pretty dubious, and there's not a great deal of really romantic places to choose from. But yeah, she's not surprised by that, because also I think she thinks of it as her gaming club now that they're married. So that's kind of good. And again, like Ava's couple, they're not that similar, so it's not really surprising that they should see it different ways. But I mean, so long as they're doing it somewhere cool, it doesn't really matter.
It just goes to show they're having fun in a lot of different places. So they have options of where they're getting romantic.
It's not the weirdest place some of my characters have done it. I mean, we've had a submarine and all kinds of stuff, so this is fairly tame for my lot, you know. Really.
All right, and our final couple. What is the least romantic place for Rena? What she would say was the least romantic place. For Rena
She
and
would
Nadim.
say her parents' house because she is not interested in having anything relationshipy happening anywhere in the vicinity of her parents or anything thinking about her parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And would you please tell us or show us what Nadim's answer was?
Nadim also said at her parents' house, and it's backwards, sorry.
No, it's fine.
It was fine. Yeah, mine
Yeah.
was
Oh, was it?
backwards.
Yep, can totally read it. All
Whatever.
right. And yeah, I feel like there couldn't be a more awkward place to get romantic for them, especially since her
Yeah.
family is so close knit. And
Yes. And
very
she
involved.
would shoot him down immediately. Yeah.
yeah. All right, Marissa, have we had any matched answers? I know there's a little delay in
Not
the-
yet. Someone said that they haven't read a couple of the books, so it's but I'm thinking this is a great opportunity to read them after hearing this.
Yeah, now that you're getting to know these characters, you're seeing all the interesting places they're getting romantic. All right, well, then we'll keep the steam train going and we'll go on to question number 2. All right, the question was, how would your wife say you would complete this sentence? My wife has an unusual desire to blank. We'll start with JC. What would be the answer for my wife has an unusual desire to blank to Tara?
I think she would say she has an unusual desire to brew the world's best beer ever in the world,
History.
in the history ever.
All right. And if you don't mind sharing with us what Seth did in fact answer for this?
He said,
Yes.
kick ass. Yes.
Close. I'll say that's pretty close because her desire is to kick ass by making the best
Mhm.
beer of all time ever in history of beer.
But she would probably say she's going to kick his ass for getting it wrong.
He's too feisty.
Rawr.
All right. Kate, how would Anya be answering? My wife has an unusual desire to blank.
She would say meddle in stuff that is nothing to do with her, but she can't resist. So it's part of that big royal thing. She's pretending she's not, but she just can't resist thinking she can just, help people out in little ways, just pull some strings. But it never works out that way, and it always goes wrong. But he kind of likes that about her. So that's what he'd say: meddle in stuff.
Uh-oh. And could you please provide what Seb did in fact answer for this question?
He said follow Russian superstitions.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, not the same. But I mean, she enjoys doing them. I think she does them just to annoy him now, rather than anything else. Now that they're married, she's invented a few, and he's got no idea that they're made up. So she makes him do all sorts of stupid stuff now. So yeah, it's quite a fun part of their relationship. So yeah, that figures for 2 of them not getting it right.
Yeah. But you know what? I love that she's just making and she could make up a Russian word. That's something that sounds Russian. Just to be like, that's a superstition.
Yeah, and she's teaching him words that are wrong just to get him into trouble, that kind of stuff. So I mean, I can see it happening now, even after they're married. It's going to be years of just taking the piss out of each other. It'd be great.
All right, not a match, but a fun answer. And now we have for Rena and Nadim. What would you say that my wife has an unusual desire to do?
He would say that she has an unusual desire to make fun of his British accent and British expressions because he she always finds that he calls it nail varnish instead of nail polish, or he calls it the boot of a car instead of the trunk of a car. And she finds that hilarious.
All right.
Struggle is real. I've been here 10 years and I still get it daily.
Aw. Okay, and what, if you don't mind revealing what Nadim actually answered for this question?
What he actually said is bake more bread than any person can eat.
All right. And how do you think they would react to not having a match there?
She would be surprised at his answers because he always loves to eat the bread. She hasn't quite figured out what the maximum amount of bread he can eat is yet. So that she would be surprised that he said that.
Right, because like, well, who's complaining about bread?
Who's complaining about the bread? He's certainly not. I think he's just trying to be like, he's trying to be all like, I'm doing low carb, I'm healthy. He's just trying to be like that in public.
Right, right. So he doesn't let people know how much bread he's actually eating.
How much bread he actually eats.
All right.
We do have a comment for Ava's character. The insatiable, overly urged to attend an orgy.
Yes. Yes. That is definitely something that his partner had an unusual desire to do, was attend an orgy. I don't know if she would say that in public, but they certainly know.
Right.
That's how they met, because she was going to an orgy and he was, but he didn't know that. He was taking her on a trip, he thought, to see a friend. But no, it's one of those house parties where everybody gets busy. It's it's the Regency. It's a little wild.
Seems like people had more fun back then. As
There's more
contemporary
discreet-
authors are.
Well, they had carriages. You can do a lot in a carriage.
A carriage, yes. If you're not getting busy in a carriage, what are you doing with yourself?
Very long drives.
I mean, you can't read. I would be sick in the
car
carriage,
sick.
so you might as well just kind of make whoopee, I guess.
Might as well. All right. And so for your characters, how would you think that Beatrice would answer this question about my wife has an unusual, or my partner would have an unusual desire to blank?
She would say that she has an unusual desire to see his forearms, because they have a scene together where they do an impromptu baking lesson and he rolls the cuffs of his sleeves up and she gets to ogle his forearms. Yes, so that's what her answer would be, because she likes ogling her. Yeah, it's pretty spicy stuff, and they're making a Bedfordshire clanger. So make of that what you will. So that's her response.
Right. And if you could please provide what he said. That
He
would say.
says that she has an unusual desire to surprise people, which doesn't surprise her that he would say that about her, because that to him is one of her most endearing characteristics. But she just thinks of it as like, yeah, that's just the life I'm living, and I definitely want to objectify my traveling companion, though.
Nice. Forearms.
I mean, I just try to give people what they want.
You're a giver, and we appreciate that.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome, world.
All right. So let's see how the partner is going to match up here for this third question. Lately in the whoopee department, would your wife or partner say you've been cutting down her supply, or she's been cutting down your supply? All right, Kate, who is cutting down these supplies to Miss Anya?
And you would say that Seb would say she's cutting down his supply, because his excuse is she's a cold Russian and she needs warming up all the time, even though it's obviously England, which is way warmer than Russia. But that's his excuse and he's sticking to it. So yeah, and that's not a bad problem to have. If your husband can't get enough of you, that's pretty good. So she's fine with that. She protests very little. Let's leave it at that.
And if you could please provide what Seb did in fact answer to the question.
He said she would say, I'm cutting off his supply? Yeah, my supply, whatever. So yeah, finally they're in sync in the bedroom.
Woohoo!
Hooray!
Yay! 5 points.
Hooray! It's a perfect couple. Hooray! So yeah, that's and he's pretty proud of that. I mean, which guy doesn't want to be told that they're not, they're giving too much love to their wife? Really none. So it's like far as you can't have too much bread, right? I mean,
There are things you can't have too much of.
Yep.
And we've mentioned 2. All right, so we'll move
Bread
down
and
to
whoopee.
Bread and Whoopee.
and
That,
forearms,
any,
forearms.
that is the title of
Oh.
any one of your next books.
Forearms.
Okay. For Rena and
Forearms.
Nadim, who is cutting down on their supply according to Rena? Hello?
According to
there
Rena, she would say nobody's cutting down anybody. Sorry, according to Rena, she'd say nobody's cutting down anyone because they're newlyweds, and this is all like very exciting that they have found their happily ever after.
Wonderful. And can you please provide the incredibly similar answer for her hubs?
Very similar. It's almost as if it's the same person who wrote the
Whoa!
I didn't see that coming.
But what's cool is
No,
like,
but in seriousness of any other characters, these two are completely in sync. I had a lot of trouble thinking of anything they would say differently. They're the same person.
well, they've already had one mismatch. So like,
Yeah,
we're,
Yeah, that's
we're
true.
okay.
That's true.
But it's cool that they both are like, hey, things are going great. No cutting off of anything. All right, spoken like true newlyweds. All right, Ava, for your partners, who has been cutting down the supply?
I think Beatrice would say that Duncan has been cutting off the supply because she attacks him morning, noon, and night, and he's a young man and he needs his rest.
Duncan.
I know. Come on, guy. Drink a few raw eggs and get back to work.
The Regency version of a Red Bull,
Totally.
just
Red Bull.
brag it. And if you could please provide the answer, that Beatrice.
He would say that he's the one cutting off the supply.
Yay, we have a
So,
match.
yay, they're in agreement, but they immediately after the taping of the show, they're going to try to remedy that situation.
Mhm. There's gonna be.
And again, reader Seeks Romance said Beatrice would agree with Duncan.
Yay!
And someone said those carriages better be well sprung for y'all. That
If the carriages are rocking, don't come a knocking.
I'm sure there's going to be a well sprung, well hung joke in there somewhere, but I can't. Sorry. And yeah, they were. They're super well padded and velvet and very plush. At least the ones in my brain are.
I think the Phaeton Club would be like well sprung and well hung.
If they had
Everyone
bumper
has the business
stickers,
cards is my trade card. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
yeah. Ye olde bumper stickers, like
I-
carved into the back of the carriage.
It says I break for rakes.
Right. So we've gotten through the husband asked questions. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and sequester the
Question.
gentleman. Oh, yes.
Tara didn't get to answer, I think.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's
Don't-
what happens when I try to shuffle.
Don't cross that couple because they are here to win.
That's right.
No,
And
that's why Tara was like,
Tara,
"Hey."
Tara, I'm very sorry. Please tell me about who's cutting off the supply in the whoopee department.
She is going to say he is because she usually forgets herself whenever he kisses her and starts to climb him. He's the one who kind of has the sense to say, we're in public, baby. So
We're not in a carriage.
she's not in a carriage, but like at a park on top of a tree, things
All right.
happen. But
Okay,
that's
so
what she
if
would
you-
say.
All right. Now, if you could please show us what Seth did in fact say.
He is.
All right. We have another match. Woo! and I'm sure they're very happy to get that match.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hoorah!
Victory!
I smell the win.
And so just to bring up points, right now we have a tie with JC and Farah. They both have 15 points.
Contemporary.
We have a tie for
No.
second place, Ava and Kate with 10 points. Yay!
Anybody's game because the points get higher here on out. So, all right. So now that we had to bring the ladies back, we will shove the gentlemen off now to their quiet room, and put the headphones on them. All right. Now that they're gone, the ladies are going to answer their 3 questions. Now, 2 are regular questions, and the final one is the bonus question, which is worth all the points. We'll go ahead and get started here. All right, question number 1 for the ladies. What would your husband say is the last thing he did in public that most people do at home? What would your husband say is the last thing he did in public that most people do at home? Kate, I'll go ahead and start with you.
This is a tricky one. She is going to say, give her jewelry, because he made a huge public statement of giving her a big tiara in a public place. And it totally gave away the fact that he was totally in love with her, but he just pretended it was like a gift because she's a princess and they should have tiaras all the time. And it's just a diplomatic thing. So that's what he did. And normally people give something very private, jewelry in a private place. So that was his big grand gesture in a very public place where she couldn't really react to it and he really couldn't either. So it was a chickening out of a big gesture. So yeah, give jewelry in public is what he did.
Thumbs up for that. If anyone would,
I'm never going to say no to a tiara in anything.
I mean, I was
Let's
gonna
just
say-
put that out in the universe right there. Yeah.
yeah, that gentleman would like to.
She destroyed her first one in the very opening scenes and ate the diamonds to get herself out of Paris. So he knew she needed a replacement and he'd recreated her family jewels, which is kind of sweet. But he did it in a way that she couldn't really react in a very public ballroom. So damn him.
Kind of like when somebody does a proposal at a baseball game.
Yeah, you can't kiss cam where you can't really react. Yeah.
The old kiss cam. All righty. I'll move on to Farah. What would Sabrina, what would Nadeem say the last thing he did in public that most people do at home?
So Nadeem would probably say it would be screaming at the TV when he was in a bar during a football match. And the reason he'd say that is because me, Rena, yelled at him for that, saying that this is America, sorry, this is Canada. We don't yell at UK Premier League games that way in public here.
Ref, are you blind? Yeah.
And was his response hockey?
Yeah, well, that was what he should say.
All right. Well, let's find out. Then we'll move on to Ava and see what Anya would say. Her husband, you're the partners.
Yes, we are the
Partner would
partners.
say- You are the partners. And what was the last thing he did in public that most people do at home?
So I think Beatrice would say that Duncan kissed her in public, which is a little gauche if you're an aristocrat, but he doesn't care. So he kisses her in public. That's what she would say. Because they're smitten.
Yes. He can't help himself. She's so much woman living her best life.
She's a lot of women. And it's pure coincidence that when I wrote that book, I was also 46.
Wink. All right, and JC, what would Seth say is the last thing he did in public that most people do at home, according to Tara?
So what would Tara say Seth did.
Yeah.
He used his growly voice to her in public,
Uh-oh.
knowing her tendency to forget where she's at.
Well, okay.
We all take a
Again,
drink. We're like,
Yeah, well, again, if you'd like to give tiaras and use growly voices in public, we're here for it.
If he does that and shows his forearms, she's gone. That's it.
This is
Game
just-
over.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you are. You guys could leave.
Yeah.
We're doing this.
Good night, everybody. Your camera just goes like black. We'll be right back. And but I got everybody correct for that question. Make sure. Okay, super.
yes.
Second question for the ladies. How would your husband say you would complete this sentence? His blank looks like it came from a joke shop. His blank looks like it came from a joke shop. Start with Sarah for this one. What does his blank look like that comes from a joke shop?
His old beard looks like it came from a joke shop.
Was it like a beard or goatee or?
Very douchey, very, very, very clean lines, very well groomed.
No.
No, it looked like a stick on. No.
All right. Joke shop beard glued on there. Ooh. All right. For Ava, what would your partners say that his blank looks like it came from a joke shop?
She would say that his clanger looks like it came from a joke shop.
For those of us not familiar, what is a clanger?
Okay, so it's a Bedfordshire clanger, which, if you watch the Great British Bake Off, is a pastry that originates, some say, in Bedfordshire. One side of the pastry is savory, and the other side of the same pastry is sweet. So you get your dessert, your dinner and your dessert in one pastry, and they have a spontaneous baking lesson on their journey. So she dragoons him into baking with her, and he's much to his discomfort and also delight because their hands are brushing against each other in the bowl. Yes, so she would say his clanger.
However, I'm guessing his clanger didn't turn out quite as well as.
Well, he actually he was so discomfited by the experience that I think he had an abortive clanger, so it didn't reach its full girth.
We'll just let that one.
So disappointing.
Just let it hang.
Let's just let it hang.
Oh.
And they've
Hey.
not rise adequately is very disappointing, I have to say.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh. All right, for JC, how would Seth say that Tara would complete the sentence? His blank looks like it came from a joke shop.
She's gonna say his corny humor and all his jokes came from a book in a joke shop.
So the answer specifically is a book from a joke shop?
No, I'm gonna say his humor.
Okay, so his humor looks like it came from a joke shop.
Mm-hmm.
He's Mr. Corn Dog, corny
Yep.
corn dog man.
Cheesy corn. Yum.
Talking a lot about food here tonight. This is good. For those of you maybe viewing at home, eating, this is right up your alley.
Seriously, have you guys had like the Korean bar food? Corn cheese?
No, I want
like-
to though.
It's like corn with I think a little bit of mayo and like a ton of mozzarella melted on top.
Wow.
It's like so good with
And
beer.
then you break off pieces of bread that Rena is baking and
Spread the bread.
dip it in the cheese with your
Yeah.
forearms that are, flexing.
Bulging.
Bulging forearms, dipping the bread into the cheese.
I just
sure.
want to say that there was an episode of Celebrity Great British Bake Off where James McAvoy was actually one of the contestants, and he was the hero inspiration for Duncan. So if you want to get all the baking goodness that Farah's book plus a nice Scottish accent, try to find that episode of the Great British Bake Off.
It's epic. And he does some quotes that I'm sure are absolutely deliberate, like sound bites. So things like, "Is it supposed to be this wet?" And "This is really moist." And there is a lot of
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
That's perfection.
All right. We all have homework.
We have homework.
Homework after tonight. Google. All right. And so Kate, for your couple, what would you say looks like came from a joke shop for your mister?
Well, to stick with the cooking theme, she's going to say it's his medovik, which is Russian honey cake, which is a delicacy where she comes from, and he orders his chef to make it, and the chef's a French chef who's brilliant, but he, after they're married, tries to make it, and it's a disaster, and it tastes great. So it's like him, it tastes great, but it doesn't look great, but it tastes great.
It's on the inside that counts.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's it. Russian honey cake.
Honey cake. All right. And now we're going to go. This is the bonus question. Would your husband or partner say that most of the people you know think you're too big for your britches, or he's too big for his britches? I feel like I already know the answer for a few of you, but go ahead and find out. We'll start with Ava. Who's too big for their britches in your couple?
She would say that Beatrice would say that she's too big for her britches because she's got a pretty big personality and she's not going to hide it under a bushel anymore. And he's a little more retiring, so she's the one who's kind of taken control and taken command. Not unlike, say, the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which inspired this book, because there is a scene where in both of those where she's at the head of a parade.
Singing Dankeschön.
Exactly.
So would Duncan say that the question is, would your husband or your partner say most of the people you know think you're too big for your britches, or he's too big for his britches?
She's too big for
So
her britches.
He would say
That's what she thinks he's going to say.
Got it. All right, JC. JC, I feel like we know the answer to this one, but what would Seth say? Who's too big for their britches?
He's gonna fear for her safety, but he will say that people think Tara is too big for her britches, but he thinks she's just the right size for them britches. I cannot say it. Pants, pantaloons.
Pants. Yeah, I don't think he'd fear for his safety. I think she'd be like, yes, but yes. But you get that question wrong.
He's just kidding. He's just kidding.
That's what he does.
That's what he does.
All right, super. Kate, what would Seb say? Would he say that most people think he's too big for his? That Anya's too big for her britches, or he's too big for his britches?
This is Seb answering, is it?
Yeah.
What Anya thinks. Anya thinks
what she thinks he will say.
She thinks he'll say that she's worn britches before, posing as his groom, and he likes her in the breeches. So he would say that her britches fit just fine. So in that case, the process of elimination means he's too big for his britches. And she thinks he's so cocky that he will be pretty fine with being called too big in the trouser department anyway. So it's definitely going to be he's too big for his britches in that situation.
All right, and for Farah, would not your husband, but Rena's husband say most of the people you know think you're too big for your britches, or he's too big for his britches?
I think Rena would think Nadim would say that their friends would say, this is very confusing, that their friends would say that he is too big for his britches because he has this idea that people think of him as being very accomplished and very educated and very fancy, and that's the persona that he's put on himself. So I think that's what Rena would think he would say, that he is too big for his britches.
Wonderful. I got everyone there, correct? Or Ava, did I get yours?
Yes, you did. I was
Okay.
going to note, Farah, I believe that your manicure matches the cover of your book.
My manicure on this hand does a little, no, this one. My daughter made me put the pride flag on my hands. Not made me.
Oh,
Aw.
nice. Well, I saw the green, and I thought that it was I was like,
Yeah.
wow, Matt, that's a cool. But I salute your nails.
Yes.
Aw. Tell your daughter we love it.
We love it. Yes, my daughter's great.
Aw. All right, so we've gotten all of the wives' answers, so we're going ahead and bring those men back in from whence they were sequestered. All right, now the couples have reunited again, and now, as before, we are going to have the men answer their questions based on their prediction of how they think their wives answered. Now, the first two questions, Marissa. Yes.
We have a prediction from Brandon. He thinks that Farah's going to match, Ava's going to match, JC no, and Kate won't. So we shall see if his prediction is correct.
All right. Now, the good news is these questions are worth more points. So the first two questions are worth 10 points each for each match. And then the bonus question, once we get there, those are 25 points. And that one determines who wins. So we'll worry about the big points in just a couple questions. And like last time, you can go ahead and post in the chat what you think the answers might be to these questions for our couples. Are we all set to go, Marissa? Okay, awesome. All right, question one for the gentleman to answer is, what would they say is the last thing they did in public that most people do at home? Kate, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Well, Anya's a princess, and so technically she outranks her husband, who's only an earl. And so Seb sometimes has to kneel, as most of the public do, to her, or show her deference and curtsy or bow. And he's fine to get on his knees in private too, but he would say, bow to her in public. Yeah.
All right. So he's bowing to her in public. Maybe at home for different reasons. We don't know.
He's fine to get on his knees at home. Let's leave it
Yes.
at that. Yeah.
So if you could show us what Anya answered for that question.
She answered, I'm going to, oh, wait, I can't write it. Wait, no, what did she said, giving a jewelry in public was what she said.
Right. The tiara.
So yes, they did not match, sadly, because
Not a match.
Seb's a man and he can't help thinking about a one-track mind. So that does
Perfect.
not surprise me in the least.
No, but his heart is in the right place because he gave her a tiara in public.
That's true.
Kiss cam style.
In the hopes that he would get to bow to her in private later on.
All right, not a match, but hey, good answers from both of them. All right, Farah, what would Seth say is the last thing he did in public that most people do at home? I said they're on Nadim. Excuse me.
Yes.
That was for Farah.
He would think that she said, give her a foot rub, because he loves to take care of her feet purely for her own benefit, not at all for him. He really loves to take care of her feet. So that's probably what he would say.
What did you say? All right. And can you show us what Rena answered for this question?
Rena said, scream at the TV during a football match.
Oh,
So not a match.
Now, how would he feel about her answer to that question.
He would probably ask her if she wanted a foot rub.
And all would be well because there would be a foot rub.
They would both be happy.
All right, not a match. Again, fantastic answers though. All right, Ava, for your partners, what's the last thing that Duncan did in public that most people do at home?
He would say that he was so caught up with emotion that he actually kissed her in public. Yes, I know, scandalous.
Scandal.
He likes to toe the line, so doing something like that is really not something that he would have done before he met her.
That is a big stretch for him.
Yes.
For sure. And can you show us what the answer was for Beatrice?
She would say it was kiss her. Oh my God. Who saw that coming? Well, Brandon did, apparently.
Good job, Brandon. Yeah. I would say that for them, that's a pretty big thing to, what they're doing in
And
private's a lot of fun, but that public kiss is a big deal.
Public kiss, and they are not married, and they are not throughout the course of the book, nor by the end of the book are they married.
That is like triple scandal.
I know, exactly.
All right, super. We've got a match. Let's keep this going. See if we can get another match here for Seth and Tara. What would your husband say is the last thing you did in public that most people do at home?
Tara would say that he used his bedroom voice.
The growly voice.
She's not gonna say growly voice. She's gonna say bedroom voice. So there is some difference. The same person is not answering.
That's right. All right. So we have the bedroom voice being used in public. And if you could show us what Tara did in fact answer for that. The growly
voice.
Judges, aka me and Marissa, do we think that's a match? We think it's a match. Woo!
Growly voice.
Yeah, that'll set her off. Growly voice. We're done.
Rawr.
Yeah.
Roar. All right, and for Kate, you didn't answer this one yet, correct?
Did I? Yes.
Yes, you did. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We got through everybody in this one. Fabulous. Fabulous. All right, then we move on to question number 2. For the gentleman, what did your wife answer for this one, remember, or your partner? How would your husband say you would complete this sentence? His blank looks like it came from a joke shop. Sarah, we'll start with you this time. His what looks like it came from a joke shop?
His beard looks like it came from a joke shop is what she would have said, because she would
This is
not.
Nadim answering now.
Nadim
Would he
thinks
say
that
the
that's
same
what
thing?
Rena would have written down, because she did nothing but make fun of his beard when he had one.
So even if, whatever his personal feelings is on that glorious beard, he knows.
Yes.
You know.
And she was right about the beard.
And can you show us what she did in fact answer for this question?
Did in
It
fact
was the beard.
was
We have a match. The beard was that bad.
the beard was that bad.
I want picture, you know what I mean? Like I want a picture to be like, look at it, you guys.
Look at it.
It
Not a good
was
one.
that bad. All right, got some matches. Let's keep it going. Ava, his what looks like it came from a joke shop?
He would say that she would say that his spontaneity came from a joke shop. His sense of spontaneity. Because he's not a spontaneous person. He's a planner. And she's all about spontaneity.
So for him to do it is like, where did that come from?
What is that? Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right, and if you can show us what Beatrice did in fact answer for this question.
She said that his Bedfordshire clanger looked like it came from a joke shop. And he would say, yes, I'm terrible baker, but I have these wonderful forearms that apparently you like to look at. So we're even.
Right. And that one's okay that didn't match because you know you've got forearms and so
Right. I mean, what more
as
does
long as there's
anybody need?
forearms.
Yeah.
All right. For Tara and Seth, his blank looks like it came from a joke shop.
Seth, being Seth, would say, she probably said his abs came from a joke shop, like one of those muscle t-shirts.
Yeah, we all know that t-shirt or the
I
towel.
love this. Yeah.
Corn cheese.
Did she make fun of his abs or
She said something about them being photoshopped.
oh.
That's a good problem.
Yeah, right. If we could see what Tara did in fact answer. It's humor.
But she's not too bad. She's thankful for his abs.
Right. And yeah, he's got the delightful combo of abs and humor. I mean,
Mhm.
what
And
more do we need?
forearm.
I mean, with the abs come the forearms usually.
Yeah.
And the
Yep.
appropriate facial hair.
So right. No bad beards.
No bad beard.
He can't grow one. He's
Oh.
smooth. It's like a Asian man thing. Not many could grow a beard.
Again,
So his chest is
we're-
smooth.
I mean,
Yeah, I
we
mean-
got there's smoothness all around.
He doesn't mind.
We don't mind. All right, and Kate. His blank looks like it came from a joke shop. What's the blank?
Seb's so arrogant. He honestly doesn't believe there's anything wrong with him, and there's nothing about him that Annie could possibly say that comes from a joke shop because he is, you know, he's Seb. So he can't think of anything. He says absolutely nothing of his comes from a joke shop, and you know, she should walk on the ground that So no, he can't believe she would disparage him in any way. He knows she will, but he just doesn't think it's right answer. So nothing.
Nothing. Great answer. And can you, in fact, give us what Anya did answer for this question?
He said his Russian honey cake. So he gets points for trying, and he did try and make it. But in the end, he delegated and got his super expensive French chef to make a much better version. So you know, he's like, why should I bother when I have a great chef? So yeah.
I mean, he's perfect. So, you know, you just have to dole out those other tasks.
His
To
Russian
someone-
accent sounds like it came from a joke shop. That's what he's probably saying, but no, he still won't take it.
All righty. So, Marissa, if we could have a little score check-in or
Yes.
any fun answers we've had in the chat.
Someone, let's see. Diane also said that she thought Farah was going to answer correctly. So, and then
That's pretty
Brandon
good.
is bowing and saying, I got this. So, but JC has 25 points. Farah has 25 points. Ava has 20 points and Kate has 10.
Oh,
That's okay, you guys, because this is the bonus question. It is worth 25 points. So it's anybody's game. Ooh. And I'm super excited. This is the time where I get to let you know the grand prize that our couples are playing for. The winner of this evening's Newlywed Game will receive a gorgeous bedroom suite from Broyhill. Look at this.
must
Wow.
get it.
straight from the era of the Newlywed Game. I just want to point out one thing. There's only one bed. Uh-oh. So this is the grand prize our winners will receive. The runner-up couples will receive a year's supplies worth of Sunny Delight and also Shake and Bake. Love's Baby Soft perfume.
Mm.
sheets and pillowcases made of genuine polyester.
Wow.
Fire
Yes.
hazard.
Good stuff.
Yes, these were all actual. So I watched the Newlywed Game to get the questions for this. These were all actual things they gave away to the runner-up couple. So
The one I watched, they won a piano and 2 like mopeds. It's brilliant. I mean,
wow. Well, if your couple would feel more comfortable with mopeds, then
maybe not
you can-
Norwegian.
they can literally ride off into the sunset on their moped. Yeah,
That's
good
sweet.
time. Good times with those old episodes of the Newlywed Game. All right, but the one that matters right now is the bonus question for the Broyhill Suite. Woo!
That's just, I love the scalloped mustard comforter there. I mean, if that's not conducive to making whoopee, I don't know what is, people.
I've never been more glad to be the last person in this show.
Yeah, Seb and Anya are like, we can afford something far better. Don't worry about it. All right, so our bonus question was, what would your husband say? Most of the people you know think you're too big for your britches or he's too big for his britches. We will start with Kate. With the least amount of points for now. What would Seb answer for this question?
Deb would say that he likes Anya in her britches just fine. So she would say that he's too big for his britches, even though she's the princess. He still likes bossing her around, and they're fairly evenly matched in many things. So she would say he's too big for his britches, and that's not a bad thing, being too big for your britches.
All right, and can you please show us the answer that she did in fact say?
She said her britches fit fine, so I'm too big for my britches. So yes, she
All
read
right.
it like a book on that one.
All
Yeah.
right, so we have some points. All
Yes.
right, we got a match. We got some
I
points.
don't want points. I don't want.
You're in the lead right now. All right, fair. No, I'm sorry. Ava has the next amount of points.
Yes.
So we'll say who's too big for their britches? What would Seb? Not Seb. We know what Seb said. What would Duncan say?
Well, Duncan say that even though he was a commanding officer in the Peninsular Campaign, when it comes to their life as a couple, she is too big for her britches. She's the one calling the shots, except in the bedroom. But in the larger world, she is too big for her britches. And maybe that's his job, to make sure she doesn't feel like she's too big for her, kind of bring it down a little bit. Yes.
All right, and if we could see the answer, please, for your question.
She says she's too big for her britches, and there they are.
We have some glorious britches.
Yes.
All right, that was a match as well.
Yes.
So now we have a new points leader. Let's see. Yeah.
Damn it.
All right. We will go to Farah now. Farah, what would Nadim say that he's too big for his britches, or that Rena is too big for her britches?
He would say that he's too big for his britches because he knows that he has a certain reputation amongst some people for being a bit of a troublemaker and cocky, and he's got kind of a bad past, and he knows that that's what people think of him. So he would say that their friends would say that he's too big for his britches, not her.
And if we could please see what Rena did in fact answer for this question.
She also said him.
These two are very in sync.
They know each other. They know each other well.
Yes, awesome. So they're high-fiving. That Broyhill bedroom suite is one step closer. All right.
And they need a bedroom suite because they're sleeping in her old childhood bedroom suite right now.
Wow. I
A
mean,
new one.
wow. The romance.
Right?
Focus. Wow, that's just wow. That
Yeah.
was some serious choices.
best part, I Googled like Broyhill bedroom suite and like that popped up and I was like, oh, yes. And no, but yes. All right. And let's find out to win it all for Seth and Tara. Would Seth say most people think he's too big for his britches or that Tara's too big for her britches?
This one is easy. People would say that she is too big for her britches.
Pants.
Yes, pants.
And what did Tara say for her answer? Da, 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 da. That's a different game show. What am I doing? The Price is Right. We have a match.
Fair enough.
Because again, this couple knows each other really well. And he knows she came here to win this game. Okay,
So,
Marissa.
with the points, we have a tie. Tara and DC have tied with 50 points.
Uh-oh. Well, it's funny, we were talking beforehand about what we do in the event of a tie. Before the game begins, each couple picks what they think would be their final score, and the couple that gets closest to that number wins. So if our two tied finalists could please share with us what they thought their final score was going to be. 70, and does that say 30, Farah?
80.
Oh, 80. Okay, there's math here, Marissa.
70 is closer to 50.
All right, then we have a winner with Seth and Tara.
I had no idea this was gonna happen. Seriously.
No, nobody thought that was
No.
gonna happen.
They came to slay.
And it doesn't matter, Matt. It's cute colored covers.
You can change the comforter. It's okay.
Definitely.
You can upcycle that by painting it in chalk white and you'll put it on TikTok and get millions of hits. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
brilliant.
yes. Thank you to the good people of Broyhill
Tonight's
for
episode-
providing years and years of bedroom sets and kitchen sets too. All
I
right.
shudder to think that I may have been conceived in a Broyhill set.
I would imagine based on like when the Newlywed Game was popular, there was a lot of conception in Broyhill bedroom sets.
You know, that's tenacity. I got to give it to my parents. They persevered over their bedroom set.
that and like the burns from the polyester. I mean, that's serious hard going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dangerous because that was back when everybody smoked like everywhere. So
Right.
polyester bedroom sets, scary.
I bet it matched like an avocado bathroom suite as well. You went into the ensuite from that and there would be an avocado suite.
With the avocado kitchen.
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
And
well, the
then
good
the-
news. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, but I was just going to keep riffing because on the questionable taste of the 1970s. Oh, there's a dog. Hi, doggo.
No, that's mom's
Oh,
video.
hello, guest appearance. Oh my God, he's so cute. All right,
This,
the good news.
this puppy is brought to you by Rice-A-Roni.
There you go. And you
San
win
Francisco treat.
So the good news for the viewers is that you get way better gifts than these couples did today. We have some giveaways. Before we started, we all picked just a random comment number and Marissa wrote them down. So the people whose comment is that number, you win a free book. Or books, plural, depending on what the authors are giving away. So I'm gonna actually turn that over to Marissa.
All right. I just put in the chat that if you hear your name or your username or whatever you did in the chat, email us at info@lovesweetarrow.com and we will arrange for you to get your giveaway. So JC, the winner of your giveaway, and I believe you said it was an arc of
Yes,
The
the
dating.
dating there. Mhm.
which is JC's upcoming romance. Reader Seeks Romance won that. So please email us and we'll arrange for you to get your Arc of the Dating Dare. The winner of Farah's giveaway is Diane Marasco. And what did Diane win, Farah?
He's gonna win a copy of Accidentally Engaged.
Awesome. Yay. So, and that's the really cool thing is that if you were intrigued by all these characters and questions and answers, you could win and be able to read it. Ava,
You'll get to meet JC's characters before anyone else.
yeah.
Right.
With Ava, your giveaway, Brandon Farrell won.
Oh, hey,
yours.
Brandon.
I thought that he might know you. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Well, he won. And what is Brandon getting?
Brandon will win a signed copy of one of the books from the Union of the Rake series, as yet to be determined.
All right. And Kate's giveaway, Susan Kim. And we saw, if it's who I'm thinking of, we saw Susan earlier today. So she's local. So what did Susan win, Kate?
She won all 3 books in my Space Beat Bachelor series. Signed, yay! So with the last one that we talked about, Princess on the Road today. So you get a lot of Seb all to yourself. There you go.
All right. And Kelly, your winner is Monica Murphy. And what is Monica going to win?
Monica, going to win a copy of my book, Out on the Ice. Ooh, it's my debut novel. It came out last year. Digital or print, whichever you prefer.
Yeah.
Let me
And
know.
if she chooses print, there aren't a lot of print copies. So
That's
that's
true. I have a very limited number of print copies, so it's like a collector's item.
And one of your cover models looked like Megan Rapinoe, which is never a bad thing. So
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
I was noticing that.
yes. It's a happy accident. So I will say that for the viewers who don't know, when you're submitting cover ideas or cover art stuff for your publisher, if they're like going to put people on your cover, I submitted a picture of Megan Rapinoe. So when I got that cover back, I was like, whoa, nice job.
great. Well, people are starting to say, whoa, I won. Yay.
Yay.
So we'll probably end it here because I know everyone's probably ready to go to bed or ready to have dinner or whatever. We're talking about
Yes.
all the
Yes,
food,
food.
depending
Yes.
on where you are. And I know I've got to let my 2 dogs out because at some point they're going to start barking again. I was
Oh, one
muted
down
when they
early.
barked earlier.
Waiting for
Uh,
dinner.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kelly, for moderating. Thank
Yeah.
you for the wonderful job
It was
for
amazing.
being our host.
Yeah, thank you all. That was a ton of fun. And we hope your couples have very pleasant evenings. It sounds like they're all getting along so well that Roy Hill furniture or not, they're going to have pleasant
Right.
evenings.
At a necessity.
Despite.
Right. And Marissa, thank you to Love Sweet Arrow and congratulations on your 2nd anniversary.
Yes.
Happy
Ooh,
birthday.
super excited.
Yay.
Thank you for all joining us. This was so much fun.
And do you have
Thank
any other
you.
plugs? The anniversary party continues tomorrow.
Oh, yes, it does. Thank you, Kelly. We're going to continue tomorrow. We have our sale. It's 15% off everything in the store and online that is in stock. So if you check out our social media, we have links to that. We are continuing to have a raffle. And then we also are having an in-person soiree tomorrow night. So if you're in the area, you can come join us. If you're not, we are going to be Instagram living some readings. So check out our Instagram, and we're trying to make it so that everyone can join us as much as possible, especially with COVID making it really difficult to travel. So
I'll be there tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Chicago. All right. Thank you everyone so much. This was like
Thank you.
Thank
the most fun.
you.
Thanks to everyone for joining us and tuning in. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, viewers.